Okay.
Hello, everyone. Just waiting for everyone to connect up. If you guys want to keep your cameras on, that's totally fine. If you want them off, that's also fine. It's a meeting style, so you can do what you would like. But we're going to stay muted for the whole 1 hour. We're going to start with about a 30-minute presentation from Audition Ready, and then we're going to jump straight into questions because I know we all have many questions, and these people are the experts when it comes to anything auditions, self-tape, anything surrounding that topic. I just wanted to introduce myself as well. You're not going to see too much of me today, but my name is Jana. I work here at Spotlight as the Talent Success Manager, which means I'm basically looking after you guys, the talent and the young performers. I usually host other events such as profile clinics, but today we have wonderful guests with us. Rachel and Charles from Audition Ready. We're going to talk a little bit about what the app is, and then go straight into things to think about for your audition. We have received some questions that you put in when you signed up for the event, and I've picked out a few of them. But then for the last 15 minutes, we're going to try to do some live questions. So if you already have questions now, feel free to pop them in the Q&A section in the Zoom or the comment section. And we're going to try to see if we can answer a few of them. I don't think we're going to get to all of them, unfortunately, but hopefully they will answer the questions as well during the presentation. All right, I think we can go ahead and start. Let me just make sure everyone has joined. We actually have quite a lot of people today, which is really exciting. All right, Rachel, take it away.
Brilliant. Well, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us. We are delighted to be here today to help you basically prepare your fabulous young stars for the world of musical theatre, TV and screen. We're also super excited to have our partnership with Spotlight. So yeah, we're just going to tell you a little bit about the company, just so you have a little bit of background as to why Audition Ready started in the first place, and then we will move on to helping you prepare your young stars. My name is Rachel. I am the director of Audition Ready app and the CEO of Perform Ready events. I started the company around 4 years ago, actually in COVID. I'm also an agent, so I'm a director at HF Management, and I also have a large children's theatre school, as well as my own children, actually, who have worked in the industry. So I've worked for about 25 years prepping children, and it became very apparent that parents and children just needed a little bit of extra support and advice and guidance to help them navigate the process of auditioning. To save you guys time from looking things up on YouTube or reading PDFs, we just thought, let's put all of the information that you guys would need in one brilliant resource. And so we created the Audition Ready app. It's a fantastic tool. There is tons and tons of tutorials and lessons on there for young performers to work through, but there is also a parent power page as well, which is especially for parents. And all of the content is delivered by casting directors, producers, associate choreographers, casting agents, casting directors, and agents. So you know you're getting the best information firsthand. So that was the app that we created. And then following on from that, we then started launching our live events because we wanted to complement what we were teaching on the app and also bring it into the room as well. So we partnered with Trafalgar Education. We've been all over the UK running industry days, meeting lots of young stars and parents and giving them lots and lots of training and advice and linking them up as well with agents across the UK to put them on those first steps of their careers, really. And we've had loads of success. So we're going to share some of that with you today as well. I'm going to pass over to Charles to introduce himself as well.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for hopping on. I'm Charles Camrose. I'm an actor and a coach to young people from 7 or 8 all the way up to college level. And I help them kind of secure jobs, secure drama school positions. Basically, I hopped on because I remember when I was very young, I was desperate, desperate to perform. I loved it, and it's all I wanted to do. I'd be at a wedding and I'd be doing jazz hands and trying to sing at the top of my lungs. And I didn't really know which direction to go in. And then I found out about Audition Ready and I thought, this is fantastic. I wish I had this because my mum and dad, they weren't performing arts, they weren't industry people. And very often the people that are most successful are the people that are already in. So I think it's a fantastic idea. The main thing I work in is screen and TV as an actor. So to list a few credits, I just did a Netflix series last week and an Amazon Prime series before that, and then BBC and ITVX and Sky in the last 3 years. That's my main passion would be screen and TV. I've done a bit of theatre as well, but screen and TV I know also is a lot of people's dream as well. So yeah, let's move on. We have a little bit of information of what is on the app, mainly preparation, School of Rock's on there, of
Yeah,
course, as
yeah.
well as many other choreographers. We'll give you a little video demonstration of who is on the app.
1, 2, 3, 4. Stick it to the man. Hi, hello. I'm Joanne Hunter. I am the choreographer of School of Rock, and I want to introduce you to my School of Rock crew.
Hi, my name is Alenka Jovovitsky, and I'm a casting director. I've been casting for over 25 years, and I cast for all forms of media, from commercials to television, film.
Quite often, you're going to be asked to do a general American. So what is a general American? A general American is the least regional of all accents in America. The trap vowel, that short A sound. What's actually happening is the back of your tongue is rising slightly and coming forward, almost like a little wave. So when you do hear it, it has more movement than you would with British. So if you're somebody who says cat, you want to think, maybe place your hands like this. It's quite fun to do, because whatever your body does, your voice will follow. And when you say that A sound with the general American, the back of your tongue is going to come forward high, a little bit higher and forward. So you get more movement in your A sounds, like cat, sat, mat.
Hey guys, so I want to take you on a bit of an immersive experience into how to create a physical character.
Hi, my name's Claire Cassidy, and I'm going to take you through a very short audition routine. I've got my wonderful team here. They're going to help you out.
Hi, I'm Chris Keane. I'm the Associate Director of School of Rock, and we're looking at some of the audition material that you might get sent if you are up for a role within the show. And at the moment, we're looking at Tamika with Jennifer here. So we're going to look at the scene. It goes into the song Amazing Grace, and then I'll give Jennifer some notes and we'll work on it a little bit and she'll try it again. So here we go. Okay, you ready, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Tamika has something to say. Front and center. What's up?
Mr. Schneebly?
I know you're shy, Tamika, but I'm not a mind reader.
I wish I was in the band. Was blind, but now I see.
So, first thing he says, I know you're shy, but I'm not a mind reader. So this is the first time she opens her mouth in the whole show. The whole class is staring at her. So I just want to sense a little bit of that nerves, so the nerves and the intimidation. So that Mr. Schneebly is just, you know what you want to say, but you just can't get it out.
I'm joined here with my lovely helpers that are going to be helping me today and showing you the ropes. Follow along, mirror me, and we're going to have a great time. Carrying on, we're going to hit 1, and that's a tight grab here. 1, 2, join the legs together. 3, 4, we're going to ripple up. 5, 6, pull it down. 7, 8.
We're going to start with the basics. Have you read your monologue?
Yes.
So the first thing we're going to do is read it out loud, and then we're going to ask a few basic questions. So what's the character you're playing?
She's called Shirley.
So Shirley, how old's Shirley?
She's 15.
15. And where does this take place?
It takes place up in the north of England.
Don't be afraid to experiment. And then once you've made those choices at home, be brave with these big choices in that audition room.
Hello, my name is David Grimrod, and I'm a casting director who casts over TV, films, and theatre. And I've been fortunate to be part of movies like Mamma Mia 1, Mamma Mia 2, Beauty and the Beast, Mary Poppins Returns. I mean, some great stuff. And so, yeah, the more the merrier. I love it.
Wonderful. So as you can see, there's so much information on there, stuff that you wouldn't even know that you didn't know, and access to musical theatre as well as acting and TV and screen stuff. I think being not prepared for an audition is where most of the nerves come from and the fear. So preparation is the first battle, which obviously with the app you are battling. We are committed to so much. I'll hand it over to Miss Rachel now.
Yeah, so as you can see from the app, we've got everything on there that you would need. And we wanted to also have our app accessible to everybody, regardless of where you lived in the country or in the world, actually. And, you know, regardless of sort of your economic backgrounds as well, we just wanted everybody to be able to access this great training. It's $14.99 for the whole year, and you guys get a 20% discount as well as Spotlight members, which I'll obviously pop up at the end of this. But as a company, that's what we're all about, is providing really great cost-effective training for you to prepare yourselves as fully as possible for all of your auditions.
Barriers in the room. So obviously once you get the audition, or maybe before the audition, a lot can happen, and it happens as a child, as an adult, as teenagers. You have a lot of blocks. So you can see here there's low self-esteem. There are what ifs. What if the casting director is angry or in a bad mood, or what if they don't have time to see me, or what if I forget my lines, or anxiety, stuff like that. If it helps, adults go through it as well as kids. We've all been at a job interview where we're like, oh God, this job interview, I don't know if I have the CV that backs that up. I don't know. Just know that the app and just general training helps you before you even go in, which gets rid of the anxiety because you are so well prepared, which gets rid of the fear, which gets rid of the low confidence because you are coming in going, I have done absolutely everything in my power to make sure I am ready for this. And you can only do your best. I know it's a cliche, but as long as you've done your best, what else could you have possibly done in the room?
Yeah, absolutely.
As for castings, there are two main routes of casting. There are TV and screen, and also commercial, as well as musical theatre. As you saw for musical theatre, it is a process, usually in person or self-tape. Then they'll call you in for a recall, and then it will be a song that will ask you to prepare, and then you'll go in for a movement call. As for screen and TV, usually a self-tape every single time for first round. That's for both commercials and TV and screen. I will say for commercials, your age can be a little bit older or younger, as the shoots are usually 2-3 days. You would put up a nice big backdrop, as you can see in the photo, ring light, an iPhone will do just fine, an ident, and then you will send it off.
Yeah, so very different preparations actually for screen and musical theatre. My background is more in musical theatre, so I'm going to talk a bit now about how to prepare fully for musical theatre. I've been prepping children for years, and we've had lots of success with musicals. So I'm going to share all my top tips with you, and I'm hoping that they will all work for you. Some of them might not, but just obviously take what you will, and hopefully it will help you. First thing I would say when you get a musical theatre briefing through from your agent is to really read the brief. So really look at what they're asking you to do. Parents do make mistakes by not reading these properly, and they might prepare the wrong character or the wrong sides. So make sure you're really reading the brief. Also, parents, make sure that it's actually something that you guys can commit to, because there's nothing worse than taking your child through a process and them getting to a final and then you realizing, oh my God, actually, we both work full time. There's no way we can do this. And then you're disappointing your child, and also, it doesn't look great to the casting team. So make sure that it's something that you're fully committed to, and your agent will be able to talk you through all that. Usually with first round musical theatre, they will ask you to prepare a short monologue and a song of your choice. And I do think this is a tricky one. Parents always have lots of questions about what they should choose and how long it should be. I would always say with your monologue, try and choose something that, first of all, you like, that your young star likes to do. Don't throw something new at them last minute either. Go with something that they already know. If they've got lambda monologues or something that they've done previously for an audition, try and do something that they're comfortable with. Definitely make sure that it's punchy, it's energized, it's something that the panel are going to really enjoy watching, and that they're going to get enthusiastic about. And make sure that it's suitable for their playing age. So you say there's no point choosing a monologue for a 40-year-old man if you're going in for Matilda. So, make sure that it is right for their playing age. There are lots of monologues online. You can go on there and have a look. But if you are going to start going for musicals, or you already are, try and have a couple of monologues in the bank already, so that when an audition comes up, you're not panicking and you've got a couple of different ones to choose from. When you're practicing your monologue for your audition as well, really focus on, of course, the character, of course, where you're performing it to. Different to screen, when you're performing your monologue in your audition, it needs to be very big and open and out, as if you're performing it to, you know, the Palladium auditorium. So really think about that when you're practicing it, and also focus on not rushing. One of the things I find with young performers is the nerves get to them on the day, and they want to get to the end of the monologue as fast as possible. And that's such a shame, because then they're really not taking that moment to really show them off to their best ability. So at home, really practice that, slowing it down, really thinking about what they're talking about, the character and the eye line with the monologue. When it comes to choosing your song, again, I always say to my clients, if you have a song that you love to sing and you sing it really well, sing it. It doesn't matter if it's not quite what they've asked for. I would rather young performers went in feeling great and belting out a song that they feel great about. But, you know, do try and find something, if you've got the time, that suits the brief. I always say with singing for musical theatre as well, choose your song and then pick the best bit. So with my students that I train, I always say don't start at the beginning, because I often find the verses a bit boring. Start from the bridge, from where it really builds, and then go into the chorus and then to the end, and then you're hitting them with a minute of the best part of that song. It's showing off the best part of your voice, and it's exciting, and it's usually not what other people will do. They will normally start with the verse. So choose the best part of the song. Again, make sure that you know it really, really well, and you've practiced it at home. But I would say don't over practice it. That can also be a bit of a thing where kids will sing it over and over and over and over and over, and then by the time they get to the audition day, they've lost their voice. So, you know, sing it a few times, you know, work on the character, work on the performance. Again, that eye line out to the big theatre, not just staring at one place or just staring at the panel. But once you're in a good place with that song, leave it, and then rest your voice, steam your voice that morning, do your little vocal warm-ups, and then go in there and have a great time. If they ask for an American, do make sure that that song is either from an American musical, or you put an American accent to that song. And then equally, if they've asked for it to be a British song, don't go to something like Matilda and sing a song from Annie in an American accent. It doesn't go down very well. And never choose a song from the actual show that you're auditioning for. So don't go to Matilda singing a Matilda song. With the performance of the song, a little bit of, you know, moving is lovely. I always say to my students, you know, if you feel like you want to use your arms, or you want, you know, use your eyeliner or move a little bit, that's great. But don't put, you know, full staging, dance routine, you know, big arm movements to it. They want to see a nice, you know, a stagey performance, but a natural performance. If you're singing an a cappella, which usually will be the case for a first round musical theatre, that is tricky, because you're singing it without a backing track or without sheet music. So really try and practice that first note that you're coming in on. So that's really in your head for when you go in the room. And if you start the song and you think, oh my God, I've started this too high and it's going to be too high, just stop and say, so sorry, started a little bit high. Please, can I go again? Same with the monologue. If you make a mistake, sorry, I'd like to just start that again. Yeah, make sure that you're fully warmed up. So that would be a first round. Some general advice just for going into auditions in those first rounds. I would say, be yourself. Ignore what anyone else is saying around you. What are the shows they've been in? Don't worry about it. There will be kids there that have done other shows. There will equally be children that have never done anything before. And believe you me, I know, because I've got clients that have never done anything and walked straight into a West End show. So it's absolutely doable. But ignore whatever anyone else is saying, what else is going on, and really focus on you. They want you to be brilliant. They want you to be their Matilda or their Annie or their Gavroche. And that's what they're rooting for you to be brilliant. So enjoy the process. Don't worry about anything else. If they give you direction as well, really try and take that direction on board, so that they can see that you are a nice person, you're well behaved, you're workable, and somebody that they would want as part of their cast. If you have to dance at a dance audition first round, which lots of musicals do have dance in, my most important advice would be, it's all about your face with the dance. Yes, it's nice if you can pick up the routine. They really don't care if you don't. You're going to be in rehearsals with them for 6 weeks. They can teach you the choreography. But what they can't teach you is, again, that eye line, that pizzazz, that face, and the strength in your choreography. So even if you pick up half of the steps, make them strong, and just give full performance, and you know, try and get yourself to the front at some point of the audition if you can. If they're rotating lines, you know, don't hide at the back, put yourself at the front so that they can see you. But yeah, that's probably my general overview for first round auditions for musicals. If then you are lucky enough to get a recall, that's when they will probably send you the actual material from the show. So you're likely to then get a Dropbox link, which will have, so for example, Annie is casting at the moment. They've had a Dropbox link with all the different characters in, different script for all the characters, and different vocal lines as well for the different parts. So that's again where I'm just saying, you know, be careful, you make sure you're learning the right characters and the right vocal lines. They will send you some script, make sure you learn it off by heart. They always say, you know, be off book, or, you know it roughly, learn it off by heart, because you will be more confident and you'll be able to perform and be directed better if you know it really, really well. If at that point you get recalled and you're down to finals, then that is absolutely amazing. But honestly, at this point, it's not about your talent. You are good enough to do the show if you're in a final for a musical. At this point, it is literally, do you fit what they're looking for? Are you the right height to play one of the Von Trapp children? Do you fit what they're looking for that role with the other children that are already in the team, maybe? So it's honestly just down to fate, I would say, at the finals. And that doesn't mean to say if you don't get it this time, you're not going to get it next time. That has happened to some of my kids as well, where they've not got it a couple of times. And we were just talking about a little boy earlier, weren't we, who had been finals for Matilda, finals for Les Mis, and then sort of second or third time he got the role of Bruce in Matilda. So yeah, at that point, it's never about your talent. It's just about, you know, what they're looking for.
And for TV and screen, you will get the self-tape in and you will get the audition in. It usually 9 times out of 10 is a self-tape for TV and screen, because of course they want to see what you look like on screen. If you see Netflix or Amazon Prime or Sky in the email, don't plan your whole life out and think I'm going to be a star, I'm going to be famous. You have no idea. Look at the script and look at the director. Get a bit nerdy with the director. TV and screen stuff is very stylized. It depends on how natural, like Tim Burton versus Greta Gerwig versus Steven Spielberg. Look at who's casting and look at who is directing, and then watch some of their stuff. How are they acting? Are they still? Are they being naturalistic? Are they being real? Are they being a bit bigger? And then read the script. Read the script with that in mind, okay? Same as Rachel said, please learn your lines. I'm telling you now, there's nothing worse on a self-tape, especially with camera, when you're looking down and then looking up. The eyes are the most important thing on a self-tape for screen and TV. They want to see your eyes well lit, a nice clear backdrop, nothing too frilly. And if you can invest in a light, I would invest in a light, because they need to see everything very clearly, and some nice loud audio. Look at where you are in the scene. If you're in a library, you're not going to be like, but mum, what do you mean? Make sure it's nice and natural. So look at where you are, look at what you're doing, who you're speaking to. It's really, really important. Is there a noise coming from the window? Maybe look at that. They look for all of that, screen and TV. Okay. Then if you were to get a recall for that, then it usually is in person or over Zoom. That's fine. Again, with TV and screen, they're looking at not just hundreds of kids, sometimes thousands of children. Transparently, obviously, all of you know the Harry Potter series is filming now and they've cast it. They were looking at tens of thousands of kids, weren't they? Tens and thousands of kids. And it got to the point where it wasn't anything to do with talent or, you know, whereabouts, or are they in America? Are they in London? It was about, do these people represent our cast? Do they look good with the Hagrid? Do they look good with the Hermione? Do they look good with X, Y, and Z? Very similar to musical theatre. It's not about your talent by the end of it. It's about, do you look good with everyone else? Okay, and it's not about a certain look selling right now, or, oh, I need to dye my hair blonde, or maybe my kid needs to take their braces off. None of the sort, okay? It truly is just first round, do they fit? Can they play their son, or can they play their daughter, or their sister, or their brother? It's very much that at the moment. And then the recall. And then sometimes, if it's the second round, it would be finals. That's for bigger projects. So big projects like the Harry Potter series, I think had 4 or 5 rounds. A commercial would usually have 2 rounds or 3 rounds, and then a TV bit would probably have like another recall, just one. Let's recap and look over that. So again, suitability and fit. Are you right for the part? Some outcomes are far beyond your control. In fact, most are, because we have to remember, though I love doing this, I couldn't do anything else. It is my absolute passion, but it is a business and it is people are putting a lot of money on the line. So yes, you are incredibly talented and you may have the greatest fit, but it doesn't fit. Things that schedulings don't work. It's nothing ever personal.
Yeah.
So please never beat yourself up if you don't get a job, because it truly is never ever personal. Please pat yourself on the back if you even audition for something, because auditions are quite hard to get these days as well. Casting is always subjective, as I said, and understanding this process, it will make you feel happier. It's not about, and as Rachel said, it's not about booking the job or comparing yourself to another actor. I do it. I'm go, oh my goodness, like so and so got a Netflix job, or so and so's in a BBC regular TV series. Why didn't I get that? And it doesn't matter. It truly, truly doesn't matter. I'm saying this for myself as much as I am for you guys. Overall, as long as you get comfortable and have fun and play and just have a good time and enjoy the script, enjoy the song, it needs to still be fun. It really, really does. And that goes for parents and your young performers. It needs to still have a love and a fun for it.
And actually, when it is fun, that's actually when you get the jobs.
Yes.
When you actually are not that bothered and you just think, I'm going in here for a good time, that's usually when it actually happens for you and you'll get the job because you're relaxed. I think sometimes the more you want something so badly, you know, it can sometimes go against you a little bit. So yeah, definitely have fun with it and definitely relax and just enjoy yourself. Actually, could you just go back really quickly? One thing I didn't cover was just about clothing. You might want to talk about what to wear in the South Take Pick in a minute, but when you're going for musical theatre jobs, I always say to wear something bright. Don't wear a black t-shirt and black leggings. You know, you're just going to blend in with everyone. Wear a nice hot pink t-shirt or a nice bright red top. You know, if you're going in for Matilda, put your hair in bunches, you know, just stylize yourself a little bit, maybe for the style of that show. And if you get a recall, wear the same clothes. A choreographer once said that to me. She said, I always go, oh yeah, that was that girl in the orange t-shirt that I really loved last week. Glad she's back. So make sure that you wear the same clothes as well. Yeah, that was it.
Wonderful. So for self-tapes, as I said, nice clean backdrop. I have invested in, you can get them on Amazon, but in like a blue backdrop that unfolds. That is usually American standard. It's what my American agent prefers me to do. But it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can be a white wall or a dark brown wall. I will say a preference of mine is if you have a deeper skin tone, I would go for a lighter backdrop. And if you have a lighter skin tone, a darker backdrop, because they want to see you. And as higher contrasters look much better usually. Landscape, so if you turn your phone that way, easy. The amount of auditions I've seen where the parent or someone is holding it like that, keep it landscape, because then you can get all nice chest and above. Read the script carefully, understand the character, the accent, the tone. That goes back into the director and who's producing it. Example, Netflix can be very glossy and American and shiny, whereas BBC can be quite gritty and grounded. Look at who you're auditioning for. Example, I auditioned for a soldier. A manager was lucky enough to get both jobs, but one was for Netflix, one was for the BBC. And the tapes are polar opposites, but they're both British soldiers. So have a look at that. If you're looking at an orphan maybe, or something like that, imagine what is that character looking for. Rehearse with a reader. That can be your coach. So I do a lot of rehearsing with my students, or it can be your parent. Parents, I promise you now, you are not going to get the job if you give an amazing performance. My mum used to go, you want some money or something, kid? And I was like, Mum, no, please. And she was like, what if they call me? They won't call you. For self-taping, can you make sure that your eyeline is not to camera ever? So if you think of a camera show, if any TV show, they are never looking to camera unless it's deadpan, like a comedic moment. Make sure you're slightly off camera, well lit, and have an eyeline that's consistent. If you're speaking to multiple people, make sure there are multiple eyelines that are consistent. So a trick that I do, I have a person here, maybe a bit of tape here, and maybe a vase here. And I know those are my three people that I need to stick to. Make sure it's consistent, because we can see when you're getting confused and you're looking over here, then you're looking back here, and then someone's grown 9 foot. Keep it consistent. And then WeTransfers, Dropbox, tag them in, all of that. Make sure it's sent well, either early or in advance or on time. Please don't be sending tapes late to your agents. It's just so stressful, because then it's a knock-on effect of, well, you know, I didn't have time. Make sure you allot time. So instead of going on the iPad and I have to struggle with this as well. make sure you get the script and you read it and you write things down and do the director stuff and get nerdy with it. That's what my catchphrase is, get nerdy with it. And I have to put my phone down and be like, right, this is a job. I want to have fun with this and enjoy it. As for what you wear for a self-tape, perfect example, if you were going in for a soldier, I wore and always will wear a green shirt or a green vest, depending on how athletic the soldier is. I will slick my hair to give it 1950s soldier, and I will present as that. If you're looking at, if we're going Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, maybe Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Veruca Salt, maybe have like bunches and like a nice free top. We don't want a costume, but we want to make casting directors' jobs as easy as humanly possible. If they can go, that person is Veruca Salt, that person is Charlie Bucket, easy. You've made their job super easy. We can move on. Because we need to remember, all of these people, we saw it on the Audition Ready app and we saw it on, like, in day-to-day life, they're just people. They are people that have been hired to do a job. They are trying to make a movie. They are trying to make a TV show. And to us, that's, oh my God, that's so cool. That's incredible. But if they're spending 6 to 9 months looking for their Charlie Bucket or their Veruca Salt, that's really quite a lot of work. So make it easy for them. Look, I can come presented or I can come presented. Wear a school shirt and tie if the scene is in a school. Look for clues in the script and go, okay, he's from this school, he's wearing a tie, he's got scruffy hair, and look at that. Don't think I need to present as neatly and cleanly as possible if that's not the character, if that makes sense. After which, just forget about it and have as much confidence and knowing that you've prepared to send it off. Now, there is no knowing what's going to happen. You could send it off and hear nothing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of agents, I used to do it when I was younger, and I know you probably get it all the time.
Yeah.
Have you heard yet? Have you heard yet? Is it going to be a star? Have you heard? Have you heard? If your agent hears, I can guarantee you will know.
Oh my God, we're so excited when someone gets a job. We're straight on the phone
We're
to
jumping
tell you straight
now.
away. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the best feeling, but just forget about it.
And they won't give you feedback either because they can't feed back to thousands
No.
of people and thousands of tapes.
No. So in general, for auditions, because I've had to do it and I still get nervous, but it's become a lot easier. Celebrate how much effort you're putting in and get really creative with the setup. Be like, what can we do? Can we use this prop? Can we have fun? Every day you should be aiming to have a bit of play, a bit of a performance, even if you're in the car and being like, should we speak in silly accents? Should we be American today? Should we order food in like a German accent, which I had to learn recently for another soldier job? There's a pattern here. Have a think about how you can be fun and creative. Again, it shouldn't be a job day to day. It's fun, it's silly. They call it a play because it's playing. So have fun with it.
Yeah.
Breathing and visualization. Keep your nerves, as Rachel said. You can get very breathe. This time is yours when you're auditioning. It's not anyone else's. They have allotted you 10 minutes or a self-tape. It's your time to do whatever you want with. So please just enjoy it and be like, it is my time. And then focus on sharing. I know very often, and again, I was guilty of this when I was 10. I was like, look at me, I can do this. I'm amazing. I'm the best actor ever. I wasn't, A. And B, please just focus on telling the story and the character. It's not about you. It's not about showing how loud we can sing to our grands and granddads or how amazing we can cry to our mums and dads or the audience or our friends or, yes, I've got a recall for this or I've got a recall for that. It's really not. It's about, I love this. I love the art form of it. I love the performing side of it. That's why we all get into it. We all start off when we're really young doing silly little plays in our living room, realistically. So keep that, and that will show that you're loving it and having fun on self-tape and audition. You can see a mile off. Even some of my peers that are my age, you can see a mile off when they're desperate for a job and they're desperate to show, look, I promise you I can act, I can perform. We know you can. That's why you're here. So please just keep that up.
Yeah.
And for parents, especially, I'm sure you will do anyway, but a little reminder, Rachel works with so many wonderful parents. There's the odd one that applies a lot of pressure to their young performer. And I get it. You want it so badly for them. I really do understand. But sometimes that pressure cooker can get really negative and the kid can, it doesn't work. So please just use it as fun. And then the second it's not fun anymore, maybe reconsider. There's no failure in trying. So have fun with it and support and be there. And when they do get a recall, oh, brilliant, amazing. Let's work on it. That's not you booking the job. Okay. When they get a pencil, or I know you had to deal with a very important contract in Harry Potter at one point. And all over the shop, it becomes very high pressured because it's maybe not a world that any of us are really used to. So it can become very like, oh, they're gonna have a Lamborghini and they're gonna have an airport and and
Private jet.
yeah, it's a private jet. But keep it grounded, relax, don't pressure, and let them own the process and let them lead.
And actually, young kids and young performers, I know a lot of you on here now, you are amazing and you know what you're doing and you know what's best and you will feel what's right with your monologues and your script. So you just go with what you think. And yeah, parents, we're just there to support and, you know, cheer them on along the way for sure.
On the day, really quickly, arrive early, rested and ready. I usually pop to Costa or Pret about an hour before. Trains can be a nightmare, cars can be a nightmare. So make sure you're doing that. Warm up gently in the morning, especially if it's a singing audition. I'd say wake up quite early. Get your bubbles, get your singing teacher, make sure you're warming up, humming. If you're singing for acting, I'd do the same. Make sure your face is all stretched out. And always be kind to staff and other performers. You truly don't know who you're ever talking to, and you don't know who you're going to bump into later on down the line. The person that's going, oh, come straight through, if you ignore them, that may be like the son of the casting director. And quite honestly, guys, you shouldn't just be being nice to impress people, just be lovely, because quite at my level at this point, very often people are getting jobs because they're really liked and they're really easy to work with.
Yeah. For sure.
Like I've been recalled, not saying I'm the best person to work with in the world, but I've been recalled because, you know, very often it's like, oh, we've worked with Charles before, we know him. Or I've had WhatsApp going, can you be on set next week because someone's dropped out? Because I'm easy. If you're easy to work with, you're kind. That's not saying don't have any boundaries. And Rachel's an agent herself. Your agent's there for boundaries. So speak to your agent if you have an issue. But be kind, be warm on the day. Have a lovely day. Have a day out. Make a day of it. That's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Any notes on that?
No, absolutely. And same with parents, you know, go and speak to the production manager, go and speak to them if you're not sure about something, but just be nice and polite all the time, obviously, just so that you're representing your kids brilliantly as well. And also with warm-ups, etc., there is tons of that on the app. We've got a whole mindfulness section with some meditations for nerves before auditions, vocal warm-ups for girls, vocal warm-ups for boys, physical dance warm-ups for auditions, and lots of accent training as well on there with the brilliant Danielle Lydon. So definitely use your app for your warming up, before your auditions.
Wonderful.
And then I'm probably going to pass more over to the Spotlight team here, but just a little bit about your Spotlight page from an agent's perspective as well, making sure that you're really upselling your skills on your Spotlight page. And actually, Charles just said about what you wear for your self-tapes, for your characters. I would say with your headshots as well, bear that in mind. Make sure you've got a headshot that would be right for a musical, but also make sure you've got a headshot that might be right for that gritty BBC drama or a period drama for the child in, you know, the next Bridgerton, for example. So make sure that you've got a good variation of your headshots, a little show reel. We always recommend as well. We do them on our audition ready development days. So if you do come to one of them, we will shoot your show reel for you to go onto your Spotlight page, but also things like, if you speak, if you're really good at accents, get them on there. They're really important. If you have extra performance skills that you can do, if you're a great Irish dancer, or even something silly like if your child is amazing at karate or diving or BMX biking, put them on there as well. You might not think that they're relevant, but they would be relevant if there was a commercial that warranted one of those extra skills.
Horse riding. I know lots of people do horse riding. That's huge.
Musical instruments, sports, swimming, everything, languages, your ethnicity, you know, make sure your location's on there, make sure your height's updated, etc.
Your passports, your different passports, if you have dual citizenship as well, put that on your Spotlight as well.
Absolutely. I'll pass over to Jonna if there's anything you just want to add there, Jonna, about just really building on your Spotlight page.
Definitely. It's what we tell everyone all the time. I think one interesting thing to know as sort of a performer or a parent on that side of the website is that every casting director who is registered and has an account on Spotlight has a search facility. So actually almost half of the roles that are being cast are through that search. So everything that you put on your profile, whether it be ethnicity, skills, anything like that, is searchable. So if, let's say, they're looking for a boy with a certain playing age, certain ethnicity who can play golf or something like that, if you have all those things, you will show up on that search. And even if there's a lot of actors on there, once you start putting in those filters, the search becomes narrow. So we never want you to miss out on any opportunities. Of course, some young performers are quite young, so it's always good for a parent to check in with the child and make sure that they are comfortable to do that in an audition room in front of strangers or do it on set in front of strangers. But if they are confident in a skill, definitely put it on. That's always what we say. All right. Should we go into questions, or do you have anything else on the slide?
We have one more.
Perfect.
Little.
Yeah.
I'm David Flynn. I am the Partnerships Director here at Spotlight, and I am here to help you get audition ready.
Grown-up shows, eat crisps, play a stupid game, or I have to go to bed like a baby.
You're not a baby. Just need more sleep. Otherwise, you're grumpy in the morning.
Ben needs sleep too.
I do children's casting for shows as Les Mis London, Les Mis World Tour, Mary Poppins UK Tour, and I'm about to embark on Miss Saigon Tour as well. And then I work as a children's administrator across Matilda in London and UK Tour that's about to begin.
Hello, I'm Gemma Hancock. I'm a casting director and acting coach, and I've been working in casting for over 20 years, casting a mixture of theatre, film and TV work. Most recently, I worked at the BBC casting Casualty and Father Brown.
I am Emma Sylvester. I am a casting director and I am here to get you audition ready.
What are you waiting for? It's time to get audition ready.
Lovely. That was just a little promo of our Spotlight playlist, which is also on the Audition Ready app. So as you can see, it features some of the brilliant team at Spotlight and lots of the casting directors talking you through Zoom meetings in the room, etc. So that's just another resource that's on our app. So yeah, just before we move on to a Q&A, we just wanted to say, you're all doing an amazing job. You're all on the right track. Parents, you're doing the most brilliant things for your kids by jumping on webinars like this and, using resources to help prepare your young people. And, at the end of the day, we just want you all to be successful and enjoy the process and have loads of fun with it. So yeah, shall we open the
Yes, I mean, we have
Q&A?
a few questions that
We do.
we could answer. So I know obviously quite a few of you have some questions, but we have a lot of frequently asked questions we thought we could clear out. So the first one is, what do casting directors like to see most in a self-tape? We've answered that. Make sure it's nice and clear. You can be seen and heard clearly. What kind of information is needed in an ident? So an ident is basically usually in a commercial or TV casting. They will ask you for your name, your height, your age, hands for a commercial, and your profiles for commercial and TV. The hands is basically if they're picking something up or eating something for a commercial, easy done. And the height and age is if the show is running for a year, they need to know that they can keep you for that year. So you'll stay that height and you won't outgrow. So if someone is going from 12 to 13, there's some big changes going on in that year. So they may not offer that if they're looking for a younger person. Where should my eye contact be? That's already been done. I got nervous before an audition. Tips to handle nerves. Again, I would say just breathe. And that sounds really cliche, but be outside, speak to the person that's with you, or if you're by yourself, just have a moment and realize how talented you are.
Yeah.
And you're already there. They want you to do the job. There's this misconception, I think, that it's like these scary, evil casting directors in rooms. They really aren't. They want to do their job and they want to find the right person. So just go in there and have fun. Enjoy it. It's playing.
And know that what you've done is enough. And just enjoy it, yeah.
Always. Best filming equipment for self-tape auditions. This is biased for me personally. I would say get a tripod, so a little tripod for your phone, and then a ring light behind it. Sometimes the ring light so close to the phone can add a lot of glare to the young performer. And then use any kind of clear backdrop, again with the skin tone to what would complement.
Yeah.
And then if you don't fully understand the scene, what's the best way to approach it? Now, I would obviously always say either go on the app or find a teacher or a coach that can understand it, or an adult that can understand it.
But sometimes you actually can't understand it. No matter how much you read a scene, it actually doesn't make that much sense. And a lot of the time they don't give you a lot of backstory to it, do they? So you have to try and do your best with it.
Yes.
What you think naturally you would do with it.
Finding clues, finding do they talk about school?
Yeah.
Do they talk about negatively about someone or positively about someone? Are they hungry? find clues, even if there isn't very many, because realistically, if it's first round, they're kind of just seeing if you look the part to play
Yeah.
someone's son, daughter, sister, brother.
Yeah.
If you are limited for space and you are looking for like, what am I going to do? How am I supposed to do an audition? There's no space to rehearse or practice. For self-tapes, limited space, it's quite easy to find anywhere, like even a blank wall, any kind of blank wall would do perfectly well.
Mhm.
And then what would you recommend for musical theatre if they're limited to space?
Again, like, you know, this area that we've got here, you know, I know my lights up, but just this little brick wall in the back here, you know, is absolutely fine. And same for musical theatre, really. It's only your head and shoulders, really, that they want to see. You wouldn't really have to do a dance on a tape. It would just be a bit of script and a little monologue and a bit of a song. So a tiny little bit of blank wall is absolutely fine. Yeah.
And a full body shot, I'm going to be honest, I have filmed it so many times without a clear backdrop. And 9 times out of 10, that is absolutely fine. Even if you have to go portrait and you edit it in later or you put it tagged onto the end of it, that's absolutely fine. The full body shot with a couch in the background is not going to.
Yeah, and you're only zooming up and down anyway. It's just so they can see your full body.
This is something that is a very, very frequently asked question, actually. So let's say you've had some incredible tapes in, but you haven't had a recall yet, and you're not sure which direction to go, or maybe you should just quit, or maybe you should just. There are so many factors as to why you may have not had a recall.
Yeah.
Like, look, maybe you were too young, maybe you were too old. I would always say keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah.
Just keep going.
Because there will be a job that you are right for, right time, right job, I always say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might just be that, you know, you weren't quite right for those briefs, but you know, and it does take a long time. It does take a lot of tapes to nail that one, you know, that one job. But once you get that one job, then you do find usually more and more work will come because you've got that experience, you've got your foot in the door, you've started working with people. So just keep going. If you love it and you're passionate, just keep going.
And as it happens, like the more and more you'll work, more and more, and then it might go 6 months you don't work, and that's fine. Or it might go a year you don't work. Especially at your age, guys, you have to have fun and love it. I didn't work for, oh gosh, 9 months last year, and I thought I can't do this career at all. And I was doing self-tapes, and I didn't get a recall for one that I absolutely was desperate for, and it would have been one of those life-changing ones where I would have moved from Morocco and never spoke to anyone ever again. It would have been incredible, but it didn't get it, and I was like, "What is going wrong?" I was perfect for that, and I realized a celebrity got it, and that's fine. You're not in control of that.
Yeah.
A celebrity sells things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily do, so it's nothing to do with you. I'm not getting many auditions at the moment. Why would that be? It is literally just to down with what is casting and what isn't casting.
And also your age can make a big difference as well. You know, the licensing age can make a difference.
Yeah.
You know, my children worked non-stop between the ages of 8 and 12. And then after that, it was completely dry for them until they were 16. And that was because they would just go for a 16-year-old that looked 12, 13 or 14. Now, that's not to say you can't get jobs between that age. You absolutely can, but they're definitely few and far between. So the age and the licensing hours and things like that can make a difference as well. Location can make a big difference. Some, you know, productions will specifically just want you to be based in Wales or just based in Scotland or London or within the M25. So there are a lot of caveats before you're even actually, you know, right for a tape. So again, it's just waiting for that right job, your right age and your right location and look.
Yeah, please don't also compare it to anyone else getting auditions because it is so specific. It might be a passport thing. We are looking for citizens of America that we can film over here, and because halfway through we don't want to pay for their visa. It's a business. So don't think it's anything to do with you. My advice would be to keep training, to keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
Maybe make more footage, get more footage. Look at actors that you're inspired by. I know one of mine is Timothée Chalamet. I think he's incredible. Tom Hardy's incredible. And get nerdy with it. I know I keep saying that, and it's the last thing.
And watch other people's self-tapes as well. I love watching like the Stranger Things kids' first tapes that they sent through, and you can see how they got those roles. So, you know, watch famous people's self-tapes as well. You know, that'll really help you out as well. But yeah, just got to keep going and keep going. Shall we open to other questions now? If anyone got anything that we haven't covered?
Yes, we have a lot of them coming in. I'm trying to put them in a little list here so I can get through. So just a quick one, because we were talking a little bit about self-tapes. Someone asked, let me just find it here. So if you have sort of an ident and an audition that you have to film, do you put them in two separate videos, or what sort of are the guidelines for those things?
They would usually specify. So easily just ask your agent, because sometimes they want the file to be smaller. So if they ask for the ident as well as the self-tape, ask, would you like these edited together or separate? Because that they can put one in a different file, another in a different file. So always ask, because it's different every time.
They do normally specify on the
Always
instructions.
specify on the instructions.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can always go back and ask, if you're confused.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Should we mention that a child is dyslexic when recalling?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that's not a problem at all. And actually, lots of directors and casting directors are brilliant with kids with dyslexia. You can ask for a little bit more time, especially if they've given you a script there and then as well. And they've said, like, can you read, you just say, actually, do you know what? I've got dyslexia. I just need to take a moment. Could I have 5 more minutes outside just to go over the script? They're brilliant and supportive with anything like that. There's actually on our app as well a whole section for advice for performers with dyslexia by Lucy St. Louis, who's now a big West End leading lady, who really struggled with that as a child, and she gives lots of tips as well on how to prepare for your auditions. But yeah, absolutely not a problem. Let them know.
That's wonderful. So someone was asking about bad light and shadows in a self-tape, and they are worried that it could be detrimental to their child getting a recall. So if you don't have, it's great if you have sort of natural lighting, but what are some tips you could do to get some good lighting on a self-tape?
I would say if you can, again, natural lighting is fantastic. I will also say when I've been really in a rut, this is fantastic. You have someone else with a phone that has a spotlight on, just turn it on and it can be clear. I will say shadows aren't ideal, but also if it's inevitable, then it's inevitable. Like, I know parents work and they come home late, and then the kids back from school, and it's winter and it's dark. So if you can find some sort of like lighting with your phone, or in the bathroom, usually it's quite nice, like white light.
Bathroom for singing for musical theatre self-tapes is a great place as well.
Pingy.
You get great acoustics. So if your bathroom, you can disguise it to not look like your bathroom. Great for musical theatre.
Yes.
With the torch, do you do it from behind then?
So with the torch, if you are looking for, I assume the person's talking about lighting the subject.
Yeah.
Someone would have the phone propped up, and then the other person would be behind the phone holding the
camera.
That is if you're desperate. I've done that before on holiday.
Yeah.
So
but a little ring light off Amazon, I think
they're
10, 15 quid is perfect.
As long as we see their wonderful face.
Yes.
Okay, this one is quite interesting. It has to do with the sort of being on Zoom or doing self-tapes. So sometimes you might not just do a self-tape, you might have a meeting with a potential new agent, or you might have a director, you're meeting a director over Zoom. Do you have sort of the same self-tape setup there, or should it be just sort of normal surroundings in those cases?
I would say do the self-tape setup, for the agent as well, just so they can see what you look like in that environment and see you clearly as well. But definitely for a Zoom recall.
100%.
I had one of the boys in the finals for Harry Potter, and they met the producers, and we did the full setup with a ring light, the blue backdrop, made sure he had something on that looked a little, character that he was going for. You need to be prepared. And like you said, if they are in a meeting with a producer or director and they suddenly go, actually, could you just do that scene again that we did last week? You're ready to go and you look great. So yeah, definitely the self-tape setup.
Good thing to keep in mind. So someone was asking about making bold or standout choices. How do you know what are the right tapes to make those bold choices?
I feel like for musical theatre you can get away with this more. But I wouldn't, in my opinion, I wouldn't try and reinvent the wheel. I think if you're given a character that is, the storyline, try and look for, because the bold or informed choice would need to be from the script that you've been given. If you come in and be like, I'm going to give him an Australian accent, or I'm going to shout, or I'm going to start crying, as long as it's informed by the script you've been given, even if it's not, that much information, I would do it, but only if it's been informed by the script for TV and screen.
Yeah.
Whereas musical theatre, these are very established characters, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know, for musical theatre, 100,000 people have been Matilda, 100,000 people have been Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. So I don't know if I'd go full bold in like massive choice especially for a younger tape, because they are just looking for what you look like for the first round and what you sound like. So I wouldn't do bold, big choices for the first tape. No.
But maybe slightly more so for if you're on like a final
Yes.
take, or maybe
Yeah.
you might think, okay, this is time to pull out something
Maybe
that
like a
works
riff or like
a bit-
something big or like
yeah, or something a bit bigger with the character maybe in the scene. I think you'd have to, yeah, it would be depending on the script, I think, and the character.
It needs to come from the script. It has to. Like any clues that you can find, like I've said, look for clues. If you can't find the reason they'd start screaming or crying or like beating up them, whatever, then I wouldn't do it personally.
Yeah, has to make sense in the sort of
Yes.
script. Yeah. All right. So sorry, where was I? Yes, I had two that are more sort of about your spotlight profile, but I think it could be interesting to ask those from sort of your perspective. So someone, I was mentioning that everything is searchable on the profile, and someone wrote, is it true the free text in your About Me and training section is also searchable? I can say, yes, it is. How do you utilize those two parts of your profile from an agent's perspective? What would you add there?
I think in the About, you just want to sound exciting. So any sort of really good experience that you've had already, if you've been in a Netflix feature film, or I would put that in that section. So, experience TV and film. I'd put your location on there, something you're passionate about. Just make that interesting, because they're going to like you anyway by your headshot, and they're going to think you look great, and they've probably clicked through and had a little read anyway. So just make that short, sweet and punchy, and just some bullet points of what you've done and what makes you exciting and a bit different, I would say. Would you say, Jonna? You agree?
Yes. Bullet point is definitely what I always say. I think it's very hard. Although it's very sweet, sometimes I see young performers sort of write their own and introduce themselves, which is quite nice. But if it's too much text, I'm afraid that the casting director might just scroll past it because they don't have time to read. So I think bullet point, straight to the point, is sort of like things that could inform them about you. That is helpful for you in your career. It's usually what we say. But it's always interesting to hear sort of what an agent would like to have there.
Yeah.
And then let me take this one. Is it best to use a purpose-made reel as it will look clean? For example, no costume, no set, other actors, or use the kids' already credited work? So I guess sort of taking footage from things that they have appeared in, even though someone else is in that scene, or should they just fill from scratch?
I think if you've got the permissions from production to have some of the, I would say to put your professional filming work on your reel, and there are companies that will edit that for you properly and put in the kind of text and everything. I don't know if you know anyone that you recommend for that, but I would say that. I would say that obviously if you haven't got the professional stuff, then just your own, however you want to set it up with, if you're going to film it within a group or just yourself doing a monologue on a plain wall is also great. They just want to see you on camera.
Especially for TV and screen reel. Very often you film projects and they don't come out for a year or two. They prefer something on Spotlight that they filmed at home than nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think, if it's a professional commercial and there's other people there, it's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do see maybe someone's filmed you on stage and there's other performers, or there's sort of a workshop going on.
Yeah.
I would definitely be more careful, especially if there's other children in those videos.
Absolutely, that would be a no.
For everyone's sake, for them, but also we don't want the casting directors to look at someone else, right? We want them to look at you.
And also, I find with those kind of like, sort of homemade, this is my child in there, musical theatre production, it's very difficult to actually see your child very clearly. So I wouldn't bother putting that on at all. I would just do a nice tape of them singing something lovely that suits their voice and a nice little monologue. If you wanted to showcase their musical theatre and a little bit of a dance reel, I wouldn't even bother putting on, productions like that. They won't watch them.
It's hard to sort of get a sense of what they're doing if it's further away. This is a question that I like to ask. I've asked a few casting directors and agents before, because you work as an agent and you might have kids who are going in for really big things, so like West End or a Netflix show or something that's really big. As a parent, how do you communicate? Because it's always sort of the fear of, if you don't get it, that the child will feel defeated and really disappointed. Are you not supposed to sort of hype up it too much? Are you not supposed to sort of give the whole information about how big it might be? Or what is your approach for a parent if a big sort of self-tape comes in, as to not make them too nervous about it and hype it up too much, basically?
Yeah, I think it's always a conversation that I'll have with a parent first of all. So, if it's your mainstream stuff, like say, it's TV drama that's, few days filming, or it's a West End show, and that's what the kid wants to do and parents are happy with it, I'll normally just submit them for it. But if it's something like an international musical theatre tour, or it's something like the Harry Potter, change your life kind of job, that is a conversation that I will have first with the parents before I put them forward for it, because there's no point me putting them forward if they don't want to do it. Because obviously casting wouldn't be very happy if then down the line they said no, but also the implications of that. So I'll always talk through with parents what it means if they do get a West End show, but more if they got an international tour, what that would mean and what that would look like on their family life. Because you've got to be able to do it as a family. It's all very well the kids wanting to do it, but if parents can't fit it in and you haven't got that support network around you, that's not going to be the right job for you as a family or the child. So that's a conversation I would always have. And same with, any big HBO lead role, you need to, the parents do need to understand. And actually, I did have a child that almost got one of the lead roles in the Harry Potter. And, we had a whole weekend of Zoom calls before we even proceeded with the final on-set day, because they needed to understand the implications of that child being world famous, probably within the next year, earning a lot of money, and the impact it would have on the rest of their family. Communication with your agent is key. And likewise, if I don't know the answers, it's my job to go back to production and find the answers, and then go back to the parents. But parents, please ask those questions. It's fine to ask. You need to know, before you can make those decisions and to support your child properly.
I would agree when what you said about how you would approach the parent with it, and how you'd recommend the parent communicate that to the child. I wouldn't talk about money. I
No,
wouldn't talk about
absolutely not.
the career success. I wouldn't talk. I don't think it's necessary.
No.
And even at the final round, you cannot be talking about money or world success, or because
Pressure.
it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It makes everything quite muddy. I wouldn't mention it. I'd say let's have fun, let's do this, and then when it's a recall, if it ends up being on set with Harry Potter and they get to try on all the incredible costumes, then it is quite funny and silly and exciting. But even that can just be the day, and enjoy the day. That's what I would say.
Exactly. Yeah, just
no
being in the
pressure.
room is a win itself, and what is meant for you will not pass you by. So
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
Attitude as a parent as well. All right, we are actually past time, but thank you so much. This was so wonderful.